Bogosian. I got Mr. Noe. Mr. Noe, your client was the first one here. I'm going to bring him in. Who'd you say you were here on again?
Christina Feather.
Say it again.
Christina Feather.
All right. All right, she's at the jail, so I call over to the jail. I don't have Rhonda. Hi, this is Judge Anzalone. I'm ready. I only have 2 people in jail. So I have Feather and I have Sebring, so I'm ready for Feather.
Okay, Your Honor, you got it.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so Mr. Noe, you are here on, let me see, and I got him. I just let him in. Mr. Horton. And I appreciate you giving us a copy of the police report. I don't put the factual basis on the record, but I will provide that to the probation department for purposes of the plea. All right?
That'll work.
All right. This is in the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Nicholas Lee Horton, file number 24-21718FH. I have Charles Noe appearing on behalf of Mr. Horton, and I have Alexander Bayanetto appearing on behalf of the people. I received an amended felony information. I don't have a plea agreement form. Was one done for this case, Mr. Bayanetto?
There was not, Your Honor.
All right. So I really like those when you guys do them. So just telling you. But so Mr. Noe, has there been a plea offer made on this case?
There has been, Your Honor. My client wishes to avail himself. I can place it on the record and proceed, and we can get a form later on for Mr. Bayanetto if that's necessary. I don't need that at this moment.
So what's the plea offer, Mr. Noe?
My client is going to be entering a plea of no contest on the amended information to count 4, which is attempted police officer result resist obstruct. The remainder of the counts we dismissed at sentencing. There is also an agreement for the sentencing that my client engage in alcohol treatment or counseling or something like that.
Okay. Mr. Bayanetto, is that a correct recitation of the plea offer?
It is, Your Honor, yes.
All right. And the purpose of the no contest plea, Mr. Noe, lack of memory?
Yeah, lack of memory as a result of intoxication.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Horton, want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you state your full name for the record?
Nicholas Lee Horton.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. Coast, are you here on behalf or have you interacted with Mr. Horton?
I have, Judge. He's currently on the remote breath where he is doing twice daily breathalyzers. He's doing a terrific job. He's always blowing 000s.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. All right. So, Mr. Horton, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead no contest to count 4 attempted police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing? Now, that is a 1-year misdemeanor, but it is a high court misdemeanor. So, you understand the maximum penalty could be up to 1 year in jail and or $1,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
When I say it could be a high court misdemeanor, it means that it could show up on CCH as a high court misdemeanor because it's an attempted, but it is a misdemeanor and you'd be placed on misdemeanor probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Noe as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes.
Other than drug test or alcohol testing and programming, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Noe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bayanetto?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Horton, is that correct as far as you're aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you're not a citizen of, or I'm sorry, do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
All right, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about December 31 of 2023 in the city of Adrian, in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of attempted police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing? No contest or not guilty?
No contest.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead no contest to this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead no contest? Mr. Noe?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bayonetto?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Is it your own choice to plead no contest?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Noe, are you going to place factual basis on the record?
That'd be my pleasure. Your Honor, the a reading of the police report would indicate that, as the court indicated, on or about December 31st of 2023, several police officers from the Adrian Police Department did encounter my client. He was located outside of a residence on a porch, actually incoherent. They attempted they approached him, made contact with him. Actually, upon review of the video myself, they did have a short conversation with him where it was very clear that he was extremely intoxicated. He did give a PVT to Officer Irvin of the Adrian Police Department, actually indicated a PVT of a 0.242. At that point, my client became upset, and actually at that point ran from several police officers, but one of them in particular, for the purposes of the plea, Officer Rios of the Adrian Police Department, who was clearly identified as the Adrian police officer, who was wearing a full Adrian police officer uniform, identified himself as police officer of the Adrian Police Department, did make a foot pursuit of Mr. Horton. Officer Rios is able to get hold of Mr. Horton's collar to take him down. I believe it was in the middle of the street. Upon him taking down Mr. Horton, did struggle with Officer Rios. Actually, several police officers, but again, for purposes of the plea, Officer Rios in particular tried to struggle with him, to push away from him, to further get away from him, and therefore did engage in an act that would, I believe, that would indicate an assault or batter or a resist or obstruct or oppose or endanger Officer Antonio Rios with the Adrian Police Department, who the defendant knew or had reason to know was performing his duties as a Adrian police officer.
All right. Well, any additions, Mr. Bayonetto?
The only thing I would add, Your Honor, is that just for the purposes of the record, that comes from Adrian Police Report number 230013693. But everything else, I think, does satisfy the elements.
All right, very good. So based on the facts placed on the record and from the information contained in the police report, the court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about December 31 of 2023 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that the defendant did commit the offense of attempted police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing by one, running from the police officer when they tried to stop him and interact with him. The police officer were in uniforms and clearly identifiable as Adrian City police officers. And therefore, he did commit the offense of attempted police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing. And the court accepts a no contest plea. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Noe?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Bayonetto?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. What did you say his PBT was?
242.
0.242?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I will set sentencing for May 17 at 8:15 in the morning.
Judge, I have a,
Okay, next week, Ms.
Yeah.
Adams.
those next 2 weeks, Judge, I'm in front of, I have a 3 weeks, 3.5 week actually trial in front of Judge McBain on a I think an 8-count PSC trial for that.
Okay, what date? So when does that trial start in May?
That starts in May. That starts in May 13th. And I'm not done until, theoretically, until June 4th.
Miss Adams, do I have May 2nd or 3rd available? That's 8. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 4, 6. That's 7. Or I have May 9 or 10. Miss
I'm available.
Adams. Oh, wait, I have the book.
Yep.
Hold on.
Second or third. I think.
All right, let me look at May 9 or 10. I can do
Close to it.
May 10 at 8:15. Would that work for you, Mr. Noe?
It does. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Noe, are we going to be in person or via Zoom? Mr. Horton, do you want to be via Zoom or in person?
Via Zoom works for my work schedule, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Okay. All right, so understand if you have some PBT numbers where you blow numbers, I'm gonna change this into person and you might have to go to jail that day. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I am super proud that you've been blowing zeros all this time, but Mr. Noe can attest, my husband's a giant and even he couldn't function on a 0.24. So that was ridiculously high. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll see you back May 10th at 8:15 in the morning. So Mr. Horton, not tomorrow, but next week, which would be March 21. I need you to report at 8 a.m. to the district court probation department. And then they're gonna give you a packet and interview you, and they'll prepare a pre-sentence report. We'll get that to Mr. Noe. And Mr. Noe will review that with you, but it's very important a week from tomorrow that you report on the first floor to the district court probation, all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, you have Mr. Wade, he does give us.
Okay.
He's up there on the 3rd floor, so
Thank you.
I'll let you know.
All
Okay.
right. All right, so Miss Underwood, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Christy K. Feather, also known as Christina Hartman, file number 24-21745FH. I have Rhonda Underwood appearing on behalf of Miss Feather, and I have, Sarah Brenner appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for, I believe, arraignment in this matter. Miss Underwood, do you waive the reading of the felony information?
Your Honor, could I talk to Ms. Feather for just a moment? I realize that's somewhat unorthodox, but I was not able to
Oh, I
yet
only have
today.
2 people in jail, so I'm not too worried about it today. It's when I have like 30 people in jail and I don't want to bog down my jail rooms. All right, so Ms. Feather, I am going to put you and Ms. Underwood into a breakout room. There you go. Click on join.